Board challenge, beginner. We have a function to determine whether we have an orange in our basket, in our list of fruits. So, one of the questions I've been asking these days is, first of all, what type of data the function receives? Is it a string, an array, an object, a boolean? Looks like an array. Why an array? Because we use find. That's correct. That's correct. Because we use find. Find only works on arrays, right? That's correct. That's one thing. And then thinking about the output. So it receives an array, and what does it return?
Object.
Why an object?
Because it goes through the array to find the fruit that equals to orange. So
That's correct.
Orange.
That's correct. That's correct. It returns an object, not a string. Right? Some of you suggested that this function returns a string. We'll see in a minute that that's not the case, right? So before dealing with examples, do you see any error, any typo, anything?
Yes.
What?
And the argument for the function is fruit, but you have to put a s on the end. Yes.
Yes, same.
Fruits.
Yes.
Correct. Correct. That's correct. Anything else?
Semicolon of the end parentheses of line 5.
Here?
Yeah.
Correct. Anything else?
Touch semicolons and see if where they match.
Semicolon with the parentheses.
I mean
Oh, yeah, one of this.
No.
One of the curly braces is
One of the curly braces
after the fruits.
after the fruit. That one.
I mean, it has to be
Close. Where?
after the.
Here.
Not there.
No.
After that.
After that. Here.
Yeah.
Correct. That's correct. Anything else?
What about fruit.name? Should that be fruits or no?
I don't know. Should it be fruit or fruits?
it can be
No, it's
Fruit.
It's correct. Fruit.
Why fruit?
Because the function is fruit,
Yes.
so it goes through that function. to
That's-
find the fruit.
That's correct. That's correct. So it goes through each individual fruit. So we don't want to analyze the name of the fruits. That doesn't make sense. The name is related to each specific fruit, right? That's correct. So will this work?
Yeah.
Should be, yes. Okay, okay. Well, we'll see, right? So let's just add. Let's just invoke the function, right? So I'm going to add just some fruits. So name apple, price 1.2, and then name orange, price 1.4, and then name banana, price 1.3. So what will this function return? Error. So wait.
Are the error on the line?
No, either one or the other, Mo. So Michael has spotted something very interesting. Huh? Capital O. Will it have any impact?
Yeah.
Nice one. Good spot, Michael.
Sensitive.
It's case sensitive, so Michael is right. Michael is right. So we have an issue here, right? So definitely we should fix that if we want to get something, right? After fixing that, now, what will the function return?
We return name orange, price.
So Daniel and Mo object, right?
Yes.
Name, orange, blah blah blah, right?
Yes.
Wrong. Right, Jonan. Right. So we got Jaf.
I don't understand why we have the curly brace and the arrow.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I think it would be fine.
So that's interesting.
Yes.
Hmm.
No one with the white, yeah.
Return should be written or without
Yes,
the
of
curly
course.
brace.
You have to put the return
Mm.
after the
Oh,
prelude.
yeah, there you go.
Oh.
Yes, that's true.
That's it. You all got that return?
That is true.
That's correct. So Jeff found the right. He pointed to the problem, right? Essentially, because we have curly braces here. So if we have curly braces,
You have
Should
to
be
return.
return.
we need to explicitly return. That's correct. Yeah, that's correct. So what will this return now?
Can I say orange 1.4?
No, it's gonna be returned.
It will return the entire object, right? Because we are looking for individual elements. So once it finds the element, it will return the entire element. So that should return something like that, right? So we try that. So we run it. That's correct. That's correct. It works, right? And then let's talk about breakpoints. I know you love them.
So I thought you said
Yep.
Manuel was right
Yep.
about the curly.
I wasn't
Oh.
completely right, because I said, what I was trying to say is that I thought it was a syntactical error or construct error, but actually it's fine, it was just the curly brace
Yep.
makes it into a function.
Yep.
And you just needed the return.
Yep.
Or you could you delete the return and the curly?
Well,
Yeah.
yes.
Sorry.
Yes, of course, you can delete both. What happens if we just return the return, if we just delete the return?
It's gonna be error.
Error.
Yeah.
Okay, so Daniel and Jonan, error. Wrong.
No, it would be-
Mo
you
and
didn't
Yaf.
return anything.
Undefined. Correct. Right? So this is not an error. It's simply a function that doesn't return anything. So, okay, thank you for nothing, right? So that won't return anything. So eventually that will return undefined. So, undefined. Undefined. Here you go. Right?
But if you delete the curly brackets there,
Okay, that's a good point. That's a good point. Let's delete the curly brackets. Correct.
It's gonna be work.
Correct.
That would work.
Will it work? Yes or no?
But why is it
Yes.
orange? Something wrong with
Are you
it?
sure it will work? I mean, DevTools.
No.
get rid of the
because-
semicolon.
yes,
Put
semicolon.
semicolon after that.
You are absolutely right. Semicolon. Will it work? Yes or no?
Yes.
That's correct. You are right.
But it's not
right?
correct from elegance.
Exactly. Exactly.
Ricardo, if you put instead of name price, for example.
Yeah. Okay.
will it still return the same thing.
That's a good question.
Oh no, because it's orange, right?
Right.
No. If it's like 1.4 instead of orange, if you write 1.4.
Yeah. Maybe in the 16th century when we pay with oranges and cows and all these things, that may work, right? But now with price, that won't work because we don't have any price, right? Obviously.
If you put price instead of
Yeah.
orange,
What?
that will return the same.
So let's do something mind blowing. Whoa! Look at that, right?
It's gonna be returned banana.
The whole object.
Which object?
Banana and
Correct, correct. That should return that object, right? Do we agree on that?
Yeah.
Oops. Why? That's correct. Because it's looking for the first element, which price is orange. From a human point of view, that doesn't make any sense. But technically speaking, that's correct, right? That's why it works, right? So, Daniel was suggesting that even though that's correct, that's not very elegant. I mean, that's a bit controversial. Some people like to do that, but I personally don't like to do that. So either you do that in one line, everything, or if that line becomes a bit long, right, that will work, correct, that works. If that line is a bit long and then you want to split it, you have two options. Either you add the break line before the dot, option one. Option two is what? Do you remember what we mentioned? You remember the parenthesis thingy?
Ah, yes.
Yeah. If there is more than one,
okay.
yeah.
No, there is just one. There is just one condition, but because we moved the condition to a new line, to me it feels a bit weird to have arrow function and then nothing on the right hand side. So at least with the parentheses, what do I return? The content of the parentheses. Maybe it's just a very personal thing, but I find this code more readable.
Yeah.
Any questions so far?
Yeah, and what do we write to return this at the bottom? Do I have an orange?
Yeah.
And that's it?
Yeah.
I used to think before that you have to always return function.
So if you are working in, for example, Visual Studio Code, you're creating an app, you should return something. But
Yeah.
because this is the tools, so this will be automatically returned. That's just a bit special. So don't worry about that. If you invoke a function, whatever the function returns will be displayed at the bottom. Let's keep it simple. All right, so let's add some breakpoints. We trained that a few times, right? But this is absolutely vital to manage JavaScript. So, for example, Dave, do you know the execution order?
Yeah, it's the first function.
So give me numbers.
Do I have already before?
Yeah, but all numbers. 8, 3, 4.
Oh, well, 8
And then what?
and then 3 and 4.
Then 3 and 4. Do you agree or not?
No.
No. So, Jaf, why not?
It's gonna do line 4 twice. Just going down the array.
No,
Okay,
that's wrong.
that's wrong as well.
Yeah, wrong.
Okay, so what do you think, Aisel?
8, 3, 4, 4.
That's what he said, right?
Okay.
That's wrong. It should be 8, 3.
8, 4, 3, 4.
No.
8, 4, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So 8, 4,
3, 4.
8, 4, 3, 4.
No, 8, yeah.
Then 8, 3, 4.
No. 8, 3, 4, 3, 4.
Okay, then we got the third option.
Oh, no.
8, 3, 4, 3, 4.
I want to modify my answer. 8, 4, 4, 3.
So then more. 8, 4, 4, 3.
Yeah, 8, 4, 3, 4.
8, 4, 3, 4. 8, 4, 3, 4. Anyone else?
That's the same factor, isn't
8, 4. Yeah, exactly. So that's Aisel and Dave. Correct. So 3 of them are wrong. 1 of them is right.
First one is right.
The first one. So that one.
Yes.
Actually, wait a minute. Dave. No, that was not. That was Jaf. Jaf, and then we got Daniel. Right? So any feedback? Michael, Rafa, Poppy, Ashley.
So you say 3 wrong.
Yes. So we got four options, right?
Yeah.
3 of them are wrong. 1 of them is.
I think Mo is right.
You think Mo is right. So Rafa is joining Mo. Yes. Michael, what do you think? Poppy?
I think Jack and Daniel.
So, okay, fair enough. So the correct answer is the first one. So Jaf, Daniel, and Poppy are right. No, I never said that was wrong. I never said that was wrong. I never ever said that was wrong, right? It was wrong the first one. 834 was wrong. But then you added 4.
Yes.
Right? Okay, so let's see why. At least there is something interesting. Everybody agreed that the first line is number 8. That's a good progress, right? On Monday you told no, it runs number 2, then number 16, which doesn't exist, right? So this is a good progress, right? We all agree on the first one. Correct. But now some people said 3, some people said 4. 3 or 4, that's the question, right? So generally speaking, functions are read from top to bottom. So line number 3 will always happen before line number 4, because JavaScript will never ever try to find anything unless we declare the find function. So that will happen first, absolutely. Right? So next will be number 3. Oh, I clicked somewhere. Oh, I run it again. Sorry, that's my fault. That's the problem with DevTools. Yeah, let me kill that. Wrong. Yeah, let me kill that, and let's try again. So, correct. 8 and then 3, right? So that means that that's not correct, and that's not. No, sorry. I removed the wrong one. So that's not correct, and that's not correct neither. So now, where are we? So 8-3, 8-3. But then you all agree that the next line is 4, right? You're right. You're right. You're right. It's 4. I'm noticing something, and I didn't notice because we've been doing some no, that's correct. Sorry, that's correct. No, ignore me. So now number 4. So then. Now the question is, will it run line number 4 again, or will it run line number 3? We discussed that a couple of days ago. Number 4. This line will never ever run again. Never ever. Because we declared the find one. And then it's the responsibility of the find function to decide how many times it's calling line number 4. So if we play again, you see it has to stop again on line number 4, because now fruit points to the orange, which is the second element on the array. And if we press again, nothing else should happen. Correct, that's it. That's it, right? And then the orange will be returned. And what happens if we return, if we do that?
Yeah.
So what's the execution order now?
8, 3, 4, 4, 4. The triple 4.
8, 3, 4, 4, 4.
I think it's just 8, 3, 4.
No, 8, 3, 4.
8, 3, 4. We'll stop.
Acel and I think
8, 3, 4.
Isley,
Yeah, I think that's all.
8, 3, 4.
I'm with Daniel.
Oh, whoa. So Daniel is becoming very popular today because we got Jonan. Who else is with Daniel? Poppy. Oh, Daniel. The audience loves you. That's a good thing. And then we got Rafa. And then we got Acel as well. So, Isley, what do you think, mate?
I understood that in the 8, 3, 4.
8, 3, 4. Okay, look at that. Still alive, eh? Still alive.
8,
Right.
3, 4, 4, 4. And then
Can you convince each other? We have two blocks, right? Can you defend your...
Yeah.
So-
So the first one I'd say would go 444 because it's trying to find that condition.
Yeah.
So because it can't say it in the first one, it has to go follow on to the next one to find it in the collection.
And then goes undefined.
The only question I'd have is, does the find function know how many objects are in the array? Like, automatically? Because if it didn't,
No, it didn't.
then I'd say another 4.
Oh, well, no.
That's
You
no,
check
that's
and
why
no.
it goes through the
Yeah,
object.
find doesn't know if the array has 1 element, 10, 100, it doesn't
Yeah,
know.
but I just mean when it gets to the last one,
Yeah.
does it?
Well, of
know-
course, the last one, it knows that there is nothing else, so it stops automatically, yeah. So, that's correct, So it will run line number 8, let's start the breakpoint, right? So, it will run line number 8, correct, then line number 3, correct, then line number 4. Is that truthy or not? Is that condition truthy? It's falsy, correct, no problem at all. Again, 4.
False.
Is that truthy or falsy?
False.
Falsy, correct. Again,
False.
correct. Anything else? That's the last iteration. That should be it, right? Boom, undefined, right? And what happened if I do that?
Okay.
So the order would be what?
What's the order now? Interesting.
8, 4.
Eh,
3, 4.
8, 3, 4. And
4.
how many 4s? 2?
Yeah.
Right. Anyone else has different opinion here?
To uppercase, it just
It's
changes.
just putting the
Yeah, it makes the letters with the uppercase.
Correct.
It doesn't like find it. With uppercase.
Yes.
It just convert it.
Convert, yeah, yeah, yeah.
It converts it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be 8, 3, 4, 4, 4, triple 4.
Triple 4.
Yes.
Okay, okay, okay.
I think so.
So Daniel, because he knows his popularity at the moment, right? So he said that. Can anyone, I don't know, just defend either this or that?
No, I
top.
have a different. 8,
What?
3, 4, 4, 4, 4.
Oh. So then we got Jaf 8, 3,
4 fours.
4 fours. Well, that's a bit exotic. How can that ever happen, right? I mean, how many elements the array has? 3, correct. So that function, in worst case, will run 3 times, up to 3 times. It will never ever run 4 times, because we don't have 4 elements on the array.
Daniel, why do you think it's 3 fours?
Because he was trying to find it orange with every single capital letter, and him didn't find.
But I think he's already saying like you should when you find orange, turn it into a
Which one?
program.
Which
So
one
No,
orange?
there is
Which
the
one
equal.
orange?
Quality.
It's 8, 3, 4.
Which one?
Oh, okay, there's the quality. It's
8,
It
3,
doesn't say
3,
triple. That's what I think.
No, because
No,
we
because
don't.
it's a
Because
function.
condition is to find the first one, to find the orange with the every single capital letter.
Yeah, but then you go through Apple, where it
Yeah,
converts
but
Apple to capitals.
Yeah,
Look
but you're
for
saying
it.
two
Can't find
uppercase.
it.
When you
Then
find
it
orange,
does
when you find
convert.
orange lowercase, it's gonna get two upper.
Yes,
It's just
that is true. If the function is gonna be finding the orange with the lowercase, after that he is gonna be changing the uppercase.
Right, let's do something, guys, because this is getting very hot and very intense. I would like to hear Richard's opinion. So, Rich, do you have any opinion about who is right here?
I think Daniel.
You think Daniel, right?
Oh,
You think Daniel? That's interesting.
So no, 8, 3, 4, 4, 4.
8, 3, 4, 4, 4. Okay, right.
Yes, Daniel.
I'm not going to give you, again, obviously one of you is right, not the other. So let's just play the example and let's see step by step. So I give you the chance to change your opinion in the middle of the execution if you want. We start line number 8, no surprises, right? We'll go to line number 3, that's fine. So the first fruit, what's the first fruit? Oh, no, wait a minute, in a minute. Line number 4, correct. So what's the first fruit? The first fruit is the apple, right? So what's the result of transforming apple to uppercase? We agree on that, right? Correct. So will capital apples be the same as capital orange? No. So, oh, Daniel, he's not convinced anymore, right? So I think Richard, probably you are alone now defending that. So what happened, Daniel?
It's gonna be 8, 3, 4, 4. Double 4, twice 4.
8, 3, 4, 4. Correct. So, yes, that's the correct answer. That's the correct answer. So, Richard, it's definitely 8, 3, 4, 4, because on the second iteration,
you already found the orange. So it's starting over.
correct, look at that. Orange, fruit.name is orange in lowercase. But if we transform it to capital, to uppercase, it's orange in capitals. So that means that if we do equal orange, that's truthy, obviously, because that's literally the same string with the same case, right? So that means that it will stop looking for fruits because it found it. Correct. 8, 3, 4, 4, right?
What if we put in the name orange capital O? No, down.
Here?
Object, yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be
Like that?
3, 4. Go hit it anyway.
Do the same thing.
Same thing. Probably just plus an hour.
Yeah, that will be the same thing.
No, I mean just one capital. Just O. Same.
The same thing, right? What's the result of transforming capital Orange to uppercase? It doesn't matter, right?
It's the same.
It's the same. So 8, 3, 4, 4. Do you agree on that now, Richard?
Yes, I forgot it was fine. I thought it was filtered. So
Yeah.
it was
Oh, right.
On the
Yes.
first correct.
Yeah, no,
Addition, yeah.
definitely with filter, then you are right. We'll talk about filter on the next week,
Yeah.
Rich. Cool. Cheers. So, yeah, of course.
What if there's a data integrity issue and the name orange is recorded twice? Let's say
Hmm.
that the new orange.
So you mean something like that?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I know
So
we
when
messed
is
up at the second time, but is it?
Yes.
Is there
Yeah,
any-
just
Because we find is return just first one, which is true.
Yeah, first come, first serve. So as soon as one element matches the condition, that's it. So
Can we add a hard one then? I'm not sure how we'll do it. But
yeah,
What? How do you find the orange with the highest price? The price of your orange.
that's a bit out of scope. It's not. Yeah. So okay, you want to do that?
Yeah, kind of. But then,
So how?
added two arguments.
No. It's not that simple, right? Let's do that next week because we need to filter. We haven't explained filter. But yeah, that's a good. Remember me next week and we'll do that. Cool. So, and last question on the beginner. What happens if instead of the entire object, I simply want to return the name of the fruit? How we do that? Where here?
No.
Here?
That's it.
Like that? What do you think? Will it work, yes or no? Yes, you think yes?
Yeah.
Of course, it works, right?
Yeah.
And again, if you struggle with the syntax, you can always do that. You can create a variable, and then you can return orange.name. Right?
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
If we had structured that main line differently, the conditional
Hmm.
arrow function,
Hmm.
to all one line,
One line, yes.
would it have stopped?
Not really.
on three,
Mm.
line three?
It will. No, I think if we do that, we can have definitely a breakpoint here. We can have a breakpoint there. But now, I think we can stop. I'm not 100% sure about that. But I think we can stop in the middle somehow. Let's try that. So then. No, I don't think you can stop here if you put it in one line. That's one of the problems of inlining everything, right? We lose control. Right, so that should work, right? That should return the name of the orange and everyone is happy and blah, blah, blah. But now, yeah,
If you added one, sometimes confused, if you added under return orange.name,
yeah,
if you copied that line and said return orange.price,
here,
yeah.
good
Does
question.
will it give you both?
That's a good question.
No, it's gonna be just the first. Second one is not gonna work.
Right.
Right, so that's a good question actually. Let's try that. Look at how many breakpoints we've got now, right? So, what's the execution order? 10?
10, 3, 4, 4, 6.
10, 3, 4, 4, 6. Anyone else thinks differently?
10, 3, that's for sure. 10, 3, 4.
4, 4.
4, 4.
Yes.
Why 4, 4?
No, because it's gonna be.
This is what we discussed a minute ago, right?
I forgot about the origin, the uppercase.
Yeah.
10,
Uppercase.
3,
It has
4.
to return something.
Yeah, but it doesn't work two returns.
Oh, yeah.
You have to just one.
Yeah. Okay, but we have 2.
10, 3, 6.
10, 3, 6.
No,
Is
Not really.
that? But then I'm just wondering, is it another 7 or not?
That's the question. Will line number 7 be ever executed?
No.
No, that's correct. As soon as you have a return statement, that's it.
Okay.
You can do whatever you want afterwards. It will be ignored, right? So 10, 3, 4, 4, 6, that's it. So more is right, right? Actually, probably if you're doing some training or challenges, if you try that, I guess you'll get a penalty, like invalid return statement on line number 7, something like that, right? Cool. But then I'm going to ask a final question, I promise, on the intermediate, on the beginner, sorry. What happened if now I remove that?
Undefined.
So what ASL, well, everybody undefined.
But it's a good thing.
Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Wrong. Wrong. Wrong.
Oh.
Oh.
It was return orange.name, right?
So what's the value of orange on line number 6?
It's orange. You have
Doesn't exist, so it's not defined.
It's not defined. Let's prove the theory, right? Orange, undefined, because you cannot find the fruit, right? So what happens if we try to do undefined dot whatever?
Error.
Correct. Error. Error. You see? Cannot read property name of undefined. That's correct. Any questions? No? Michael? Good? Good? Cool. So let's do the intermediate. Actually, no one has solved the intermediate, which is a very interesting thing, right?
It's more complicated.
Yeah, of course. That's why it's intermediate. Right? We agree on that. Right. So can we figure out what's going on here? Transform fruit.
It's gonna be transformed fruit.
You got array of fruits.
We have an array of fruits.
It's gonna be transformed in the uppercase.
What do we have an array of fruits?
Fruit.
Of fruits.
Fruit.
Why fruit is an array?
But if it's a fruit, so it's not an array. It's just
I don't know. Maybe it could be an array, right? It could be. I don't know.
It is so, because it's dot split.
yeah.
No, that's a string.
But dot split. What's a string?
I need a split. There should be
Yeah.
fruit dot split.
So does that make any sense, actually?
So the data would be a string because it's dot split because isn't that function that changes a string to an array?
That's correct. But then we are not using the fruit. Where are we using the fruit?
Are we just trying to put a capital letter at the beginning?
So it has to be
Yeah,
a
but it's return ID.
So what will this? If I run this, what will this return?
ID is undefined. Because
ID is undefined, correct. So this
Because you return
this is a classic thing that the company, the employers will ask you to see if you're paying attention to details, right? That's completely stupid. That doesn't make any sense at all, right? Because you receive a fruit, but then you put ID. What's ID?
Yeah, what is ID?
Oh, no, yeah, that's too late now. You didn't get the job, right? You should notice that before, right?
CSS
ID. I can type here ASL, right? That's the same thing. It doesn't make sense, right? This doesn't make any sense, right? So
Return fruit.
return fruit, right? That's the first thing, and then we can keep talking about the details. But that's the first thing. Return fruit, and then Poppy said something interesting. Poppy said this is a string because then we can split it, right? So how that works? If
We
we,
can split in arrays inside arrays.
No, you can't. No, you can split a string into an array. How do we do that? So, for example, if we have that hello dash world, we can do split, and that will create a new array of 2 elements, right? So that element that will chop the string, taking that, right? So it will create. We have two elements. The first element before the hyphen and the second element, right?
There's no hyphen.
That's a good question. If there is no hyphen, it will simply create an array of 1 element. Oops, sorry, I clicked somewhere. No, wait. That's fat finger problem. So if we do that, yes, it will create an array of 1 element. And what happens if the string has more than 1 token? That's correct. So now, how many elements this array will have? 3 or 2?
3.
2, 3, 2, 3, 4.
Three.
3. Why 2? What's the first element of the array? Hello. And the second? So there is no third element.
Continue.
Yes, that's correct, right? Of course it has 3 elements. So split will look for all the instances, all the hyphens. Correct, right? So look at the fruit. So the fruit could be something like, can you tell me a fruit with 2 words? Watermelon. Oh, okay, I accept that. Watermelon, right? Like that? So if we have watermelon, what will it generate after the split? Correct. It will generate an array of 2 elements. The first element will be water, the second element will be melon, right? And then we have map. That's very interesting. Right? So you know what map is doing?
Going through.
Correct. So map goes through each individual element on the array.
It's like an iterate.
It's like?
It's like an iterate when you use the I++ or I.
Yes, correct. It iterates. That's correct. It iterates. Say again? The key. No, not really. Just go through the list of elements of the array, and then.
And then
Replace it.
Yeah. So
do
it.
whatever we want.
Yes, that's a very, very wide answer, but yes, it does whatever you want. Yes, that's correct. So map essentially, it takes an array and returns another array of the same size, right? So if I have, for example, an array of words in lower cases, it can return another array of the same words in capitals, right? So same size, input, output. So if it receives an array of 2 elements, it will return an array of 2 elements. And then, for each individual element, here's where we transform it. Right? Here is where we transform it. So first of all, in the first iteration, if we got watermelon, and then we do split, dash, hyphen, we got 2 elements, right? Water and melon. So on the first iteration, what will be the token? Water. That's correct. What will be the index? Null. No, 0. That's correct. Because remember that arrays start at 0. Yeah? So, and what that means? If I have an index, do something. If I don't have any index, just return the token. So, if the index is 0, will this condition will be evaluated as truthy or falsy? Are you sure? Right? 0 is evaluated as falsy. That's a ternary operator.
Oh, yes.
That's on the beginner training, yes. So that's an if-else, essentially. Yeah, so if that, then do that. Else, do something else.
So this is title case in fruit.
It's ignoring the first element, basically.
Is ignoring the first element, correct. So the first element, which is, I think I deleted, yeah, the first element, which is water, index is 0, so then will it run if or else? Else, correct. So what will the first iteration return? Correct. We receive water and we return water. We didn't change it at all. But what happened on the second iteration? Melon. Second iteration, token equals melon, index equals 1, right? Because this is index number 1, index number 0, index number 1. What happened in index number 1? Is 1 truthy or falsy? It's truthy, correct. It's truthy. So then we unfortunately land on this complex piece of code, right?
First letter is going to be upper.
So what if it's index 1, 2, 3, anything but 0, then what will return is, what's token 0?
First element on the index.
Water. Why water? No, it's not water.
No.
It's M. Correct. Because token is melon. Right? So token 0 is the first character of melon. M. So what will this return?
Uppercase.
Right, that's capital M. So we return capital M and then, what's that? Slice 1. What's this?
Slices, I think so.
Yeah.
Slices what?
Separate.
Let's do an example.
Slices cut. It's gonna be long.
Look, if we have, this is like a cake, right? We slice, we get a slice of the cake. So if we have hello dot slice one, not a splice, sorry, slice one, you see?
Yeah.
So that will remove and that's, I know this is one of the most mind-blowing things in JavaScript. Why, if we start in index 0, that's a bit confusing, right? To me at least. But then if we do slice 2, what will return with the slice 2?
You just want one L. Just like
LLO,
Yes.
correct. If we do slice 3,
just one L.
slice 4,
It's just one L.
slice 5,
Hell.
no, slice
That's
5.
all right. You can say slice one is slice one letter off.
Correct. So exactly, slice 1 means get rid of the first element. Slice 2 means get rid of the first 2 elements. Slice 3, get rid of the first 3 elements, right? And with modern JavaScript, because apparently they didn't manage to find any better thing to implement, they decided to support negative values, right? But this is something that you shouldn't use unless you want to impress someone.
But now you're gonna have hell if you slice one. Or
Yes. Well, because it's a slice 1, let's go back to the watermelon example eventually. So we keep capital M plus
What does the -1 do? The slice one.
stars keep from the right, from the end, but just ignore that.
Now you're gonna have hell. Slice last one.
Slice 1,
Last one. If you have hello,
yes.
slice last one, you're gonna have hell.
No,
No?
No.
It's not from the right.
but it does the other way around. It keeps the elements from the right. Just ignore the -1. That was a very bad example, right?
Can we just see it? Can you do it?
Yes.
It's gonna be like hell or not.
No. You see?
Oh, it's just oh.
Yeah, and if it's 2, start from the right, right? Oh yeah, that thing, right? That's yeah. Don't do that.
The kind of
Yeah.
one token is lemon. Why is it lemon?
Why is it lemon? We don't have any lemon. Melon.
Watermelon. Melon. Why is it melon?
Why is it?
Not water.
No, because on the first iteration, index 0, we got water, and then what we discuss is because index is 0, 0 evaluates as falsy, so falsy then will return the same token. So we receive water, we return water.
It's like fine. Does it like fine? That's the first element.
Yeah, and then on the second iteration, index is 1, 1 clearly evaluates as truthy, so we'll do that. So on index 1 we got melon, and we receive melon, and we return capital M plus what? Elon, correct. Elon Musk, correct. So that will essentially capitalize M, right? So, and finally, we got something interesting, join. What is join doing?
Like a contract.
Correct. So if we have here hello, comma, world, if we do dot join, if we put, for example, a hyphen, that will be the element, the glue between these 2 elements. You see? We can put what we want here. If we put 3 ads, you see? And if we don't put anything, yeah, it will just concatenate the strings, right? So that's what we do here. We concatenate the elements of the array. So, what will this function return eventually?
All the fruits with capital letters.
So we're going to send the input fruit is watermelon. And that returns what? Like that?
No, with
No.
another space instead of a dash.
Like that?
Space.
Space.
Oh, whoa.
A space.
No.
Space or no space?
Because we use the join.
That will add the space. But if it's just an empty string, no space at all. right? Like that. Do you agree on that? Let's try that, right? Let's see if it works. So transform watermelon. Let's see what this sample returns. Interesting.
Aha.
Interesting.
I was wondering about
Interesting.
this.
Interesting.
Yeah, token.
Why? We explained that already.
First off, can we call fruits instead of fruit?
No, because there's a single fruit.
Ah, just one fruit.
There's no return.
That's one thing. There is no return. That's one thing. But just because of that, this is not going to fail, probably. Well, it could fail. I don't know. Let's try again. This is not going to work anyway. Eh? So let's run the example again. Same problem. Token is not defined. What's that?
So which token is we look at the
Token, that's a variable, so we need to define it.
It's defined here. Look.
Yeah, so it's not
Oh, right, 'cause it's yeah.
I'll give you a hint. The problem is on line number 5. No. Line number 5.
Oh,
You have to put parentheses.
Index of the token.
parentheses.
Daniel is right.
Yeah.
Remember,
Because you see that
parentheses are optional if you have one argument. Do you remember we discussed that yesterday?
Yes.
How many arguments do we have in our callback function of map? 2. Token and index. Just the fact that index has a different color, that's smelly, right? Something goes wrong here. Why index has a different color? Why? Because something is not correct. It will change color probably as soon as I add the parentheses. You see? Now both have the same color. Ah, that thing, right? So, will this work? Yes or no? And why? It should work. Let's try that. Correct. 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 So essentially, this algorithm transforms a string into a different string.
And is it right that index, we could call it something else? Same
Of
as
course.
token, we could call it something else.
Of course, you can call it Jonan, right? No, that's it.
Token as well.
That's yeah. Freedom, right?
Yeah.
Look, still works. The important thing is the order. The first element is each individual item on the array. The second element is the index,
Yeah.
right? Any question? I do have a question. So that's the input, right? Watermelon. Can you tell me the technical way to describe this case, this way of structuring variables? Or what? Camel case. So camel case or kebab case? Kebab. Kebab, camel. Why kebab? Why camel? So there is a way when you have several words joined by a dash or a hyphen, there is a way to describe this naming. Pascal. Okay. This is getting very interesting. So we got Pascal, we got kebab, we got camel, and we got a snake as well, right? Kebab. Why kebab? That's correct. That's correct. That's correct. That's correct. That's correct. It's kebab. Yes, that's kebab case. I'm not joking. That's correct. It's kebab case, right? Why? Because look, this is like the blade that goes through the meat. You know, the kebab, right? Right. This is the. I mean, I'll be honest. This is not the formal way to describe this. But today, in 2019, this is the most popular way to call that. Historically speaking, if it's what? It's, yes.
It's most important. It's most popular than camel case.
We'll go to the camel case in a minute. For now, this is kebab case.
Why has it got P?
Okay, I don't know. Kebab. It's maybe kebab with B. I don't know. Yes. I don't know. B or P. Yes. This goes beyond the scope of the bootcamp, right? That thing. Right. So if this is, I mean, this is fairly recent to be honest, but now it's the most popular. If you are an old developer, if you've been coding for years before kebabs even were popular in Europe, the way to call that it was Lisp case.
Oh, that's it.
Lisp, because Lisp was the first programming language to implement, right? So that's a good thing because if you go to a job interview and then this is kebab, but in the former it was called Lisp. It proves that you have some culture, right, about coding, right? Cool. So this is kebab or Lisp case. But then we've transformed it into watermelon.
Yeah.
What's that? Camel case. Why camel case?
Because it's like the pen of the
Correct. It's like a camel, right? I guess someone got paid to decide this kind of thing, right? And then what happened if we have that water_melon?
Oh, Pascal. The best case.
Pascal. Wrong. That's not Pascal case. No, that's not Pascal case. That's a snake case. That's correct. Snake. Why? Because it's like a snake, right?
Yeah.
It's like-
It's all capital, not all capitals, but beginning of every word is capital, isn't Pascal?
Okay, I'll go to Pascal in a minute. No, that's all right. So that's snake case, right? Snake case. And finally, we got that. What's that? That's Pascal case, correct. It's Pascal case. Because Pascal was the first programming language that introduced this syntax, right? So generally speaking, depending on what we do with JavaScript, we'll use one or the other. For example, if you want to create a variable with JavaScript, let username. In speaking, what's that? That's camel case, correct. Can we use kebab case on a variable name in JavaScript?
Yeah.
Yes. No, we can't.
No.
Look,
No,
look,
no.
look. Wrong. That's not correct, right?
That's the camel.
You see, unexpected token. So that's not correct. You can use. Let me get rid of that. You can use camel case. Can you use snake case?
Yes.
That's correct. You can use a snake case, right? I'll tell that, under my point of view, in JavaScript, the most popular way to declare variables is using camel,
Yeah.
right?
There's another case as well.
Another, which one?
You put the line underneath at the beginning of the
At the beginning,
Yeah.
and then what?
Username, for example.
Like that?
Camel case,
Yeah, I don't know what's that doing this.
no?
I mean, I don't know the technical way to describe that. So generally speaking, historically speaking, when you put an underscore, it's because you want to have this variable as a private variable. It's a way to tell your team, we're not going to publish this variable. But if there is any technical way to describe that, I don't know. I'll figure out.
Private.
Private case, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, maybe, yes.
Or a shy camel.
Yes, any of these, right? But this is about variable names. But when you create a file in JavaScript, generally speaking, you do use kebab case, right? When you do, for example, gallery dash component, right? So for file names, is more typical. Also with React, you'll see starting from task number 7, because in task number 7 you need to create a new component that you'll have, for example, the name of the file will be something like details component.javascript, right? This is Pascal. So React likes to capitalize the file names as a way to describe that, yes, this is a JavaScript component, but that JavaScript component contains a React component. So
What's the difference between let and var?
we'll learn that in the future. We'll learn that, right? We'll have works about let versus var versus
Oh,
comments.
we should use let.
Yes, for now, yes, use let.
Version.
Cool, guys, that's pretty much it for today. So do you have any questions, anything? No? Richard?
Is there a recording?
Yep.
No thanks, that was great.
Okay, cool. So yeah, thank you guys. That was it. Cheers.